thought process was we had successfully launched Apollo. And so we had learned some things about what was happening with Apollo. Where now we're talking about just going up and then coming back down. And then we had gone to the moon. And so we had learned a lot of things associated with going to the moon in terms of the astronauts. But now we're talking about sending a rocket ship and bringing it back to Earth without having to go through that whole process of rebuilding everything from scratch. So the technical challenges were there. And so things like, and so an area that I worked in was the software area. So the idea was to how do you build computers at that time? And I think about computers that are probably a little less dumber than our iPhones today.
A little bit.
And they were taking rooms, I'm talking about maybe 100,000 square feet of space to put 5 computers in one room in order to try to figure out how to get this. So the idea was that you take a launch and an orbit and then a re-entry. And the key is how do you measure all the aspects of space shuttle and the astronauts and the environment. And so the challenge we had was to try to figure out what do you do and how does the software work together? And what kind of systems do you put in place to monitor the astronauts, to monitor the spacecraft? And when everybody put all their requirements in terms of what they wanted to see in terms of data, I mean, there was probably like 20 pounds of sugar that you were trying to put into a 5-pound bag.